Hi everybody, welcome back. So if you followed my channel long enough and followed my original channel, which I sadly lost, but I've re-uploaded all the videos here on the new original Corey Unlisted channel. One of my first insanely popular videos was a video that I made with my buddy Andrew of Riverside, California, about why you should buy a Gen 2 Prius. And here we are broadcasting live in the front seat of my 2008 Prius, which is my final hours of ownership. That's right, folks. I have a company car, and this thing has been sitting idle. Only a couple of 100 miles have been put on it since February of this year, 2025. So a guy around the corner is buying it for $3,500, and I currently have 280,611 miles on this 2008 Prius. I just did its final smog for transfer of ownership, which is the seller's responsibility in California. We're going to do a final rundown of my most recent services. March the 1st, 2025, 278,973 miles. That's when I changed the oil last. So I have put just about 1,400 miles on it since March. So in 6 months, barely 2,000, not even 2,000 miles. And then the last major thing that I have done to this vehicle, we're going to go all the way back to November of last year, oil change, 273,000 miles. September 22nd, 2024, 268,000 miles, oil change. So in the last year, I have put 12,000 miles on this car, and now it's been sitting 1,400 miles in the last 6 months. Prior to that, I had my little mishap where I had my front bumper replaced. You'll all remember that. And that was paid for by insurance. They replaced the front bumper, and that was $1,970. Insurance paid for that, minus my deductible. August 27th of 2024, cabin air filter changed. And then prior to that, oil change, July 31st of 2024, 262,000 miles. March 16th, 2024, oil and oil filter change. Smogged 2023. And then we got another oil change, November of 2023. Okay, so there hasn't been very much major repairs. The last major repair was the front bumper. I don't know where my antenna mast is. There is an antenna mast that I replaced with a used part, but that seems to be missing. So perhaps because of it was from a junkyard. I don't know why I don't have that in here. Wait a minute. So this is a sad final chapter on the Prius. It has been the best car that I have ever owned. My goal was to get to 300, but I just can't justify keeping it any longer. And it's crazy that I'm selling this car with 280,000 miles on it for $3,500, when in December of 2017, December 8th, wow, I bought this car the day that my son would be born in 2020, three years before he was born. December 8th, 2017, I bought this car as an employee of CarMax in Irvine, California. And at the time, it had 125,000 miles on it. And I bought this car for $4,832. So in 175,000 miles worth of driving and almost 8 years of ownership, I'm getting back $3,500 of the $4,832 that I paid for this car originally, as I bought this at a wholesale auction as an employee for CarMax. With that being said, you'll reference back some of my other videos. In 2022, when the hybrid battery died and the ABS actuator died, I spent $4,053 on a thermal expansion pump and OEM battery, and the ABS actuator was $2,574. So I paid $6,600 in repairs in January of 2022 to keep this car going another 3 years. To me, it was worth it. The repair costs were exceeding the price that I paid for the car. I drove the car for 75,000 miles with just regular maintenance. And in 2022, I did the big $6,500 repairs, which was ABS actuator, OEM battery, and thermal expansion tank. And then upcoming a year later, I did the inverter pump, and I did its transmission service at 232,000 miles. That was $249. Where's my inverter pump? And I did the struts, $1,259. So this car cost a lot in repairs, but it kept it going, and I made it to almost 300,000 miles. It is running flawlessly. It does use a little bit of oil, about a quart of oil every 4,000 miles, but I am very confident that this 2008 Prius will live on for another 100,000 miles at least for this new owner that is going to be purchasing this vehicle. Let's do a final walk around and we'll wrap it up, folks, as we say goodbye to the old 2008 Toyota Prius trim level 4. So here we are, 280,611 miles. Original interior, just a little bit of wear right there on the side bolster, but that's not actual leather. The actual seats are leather. Can you believe this car has almost 300,000 miles on it? Final walk around. It's always been garaged as long as I've owned it. I will be pulling off the bumper stickers with a blow dryer. I want to keep those for sentimental purposes. Of course, you can never forget when I was on 26 Mile Road and Stanislaus County was restriping the road and I ran over fresh road stripe paint that was wet. Never was able to get that off. Who could forget when I was living in my apartment in Yorba Linda and there was no parking and I squeezed into a parking spot that wasn't really a parking spot, and my wife with the stroller squeezed by it, dented it. That would have been 2016 or no, maybe early 2018. And the aftermarket bumper that was installed did not hold up well. Cracked shortly after I bought it for no reason, and then that plastic vent radiator cover fell out. So off it goes to its new owner. Lots of memories in this car, including sweet lovemaking by me and my wife on many date nights. But enough information about the Prius as it goes on to its new owner with all of its secrets. Until next time, folks, we'll see you then.